There's a moment most parents know well. Your child does something they shouldn't, and every instinct in your body says, correct this right now. So you do. And somehow, instead of things getting better, they get worse. The tears come harder. The defiance digs in deeper. The wall goes up. And you're left wondering why nothing you say seems to land. Here's what nobody told you. The problem isn't what you said, it's when you said it. Before a child can receive correction, they first need to feel connection and understanding that one shift can change everything about how you guide your child's behavior. Let's start with what's actually happening in your child's brain when they act out, because behavior that looks like defiance almost never starts that way. Children don't wake up and decide to make your life harder. When a child acts out, it's usually because something inside them has become too big to hold. They're overwhelmed, they're disconnected, they're anxious, exhausted, or trying to communicate something they don't yet have the words for. What looks like a behavior problem is almost always an emotional signal. And when we rush straight to correction, we address the signal without ever finding the source. Think of it this way. If your smoke alarm goes off, the first thing you do isn't rip the battery out to stop the noise. You look for what's actually happening. Jumping straight to correction is like ripping out that battery. The alarm stops, but the problem underneath is still there. This is why neuroscience matters here. When a child feels threatened, whether by a raised voice, a sharp tone, or emotional withdrawal, their brain activates a stress response. The thinking brain, the part responsible for learning, reasoning, and self control, essentially goes offline. What takes over instead is the survival brain. Fight, flight, freeze. In that state, your child literally cannot process what you're trying to teach them. The lesson doesn't land because the brain isn't available to receive it. You're speaking to a part of your child that simply isn't listening. Not because they're choosing to ignore you, but because the biology won't allow it. Connection is what changes the brain's state. When a child feels safe, seen, and emotionally close to you, their nervous system calms. The stress response softens. The thinking brain comes back online. And now they are actually ready to learn. This is why the sequence matters so much. Connection first, correction second. Not because correction isn't important, it absolutely is. But because correction without connection tends to produce compliance at best and resentment at worst. A child who only behaves because they fear the consequence isn't developing self-regulation. They're developing a strategy to avoid punishment. That's a very different thing. There's also something worth understanding about where real influence comes from. Many parents try to shape behavior through authority. I'm the parent, you do what I say. And yes, authority has its place, but long-term influence, the kind that actually shapes who your child becomes, that's built through relationship. When a child feels genuinely connected to you, they want to cooperate. Not because they have to, because the relationship matters to them. The moment correction starts feeling like control, resistance is the almost predictable response. Arguments, eye rolls, hiding mistakes, quiet withdrawal. These aren't signs of a bad child. They're signs of a child who doesn't feel safe enough to be honest. Connection also teaches something that correction alone never can, and that's emotional regulation. Children don't learn to calm down by being told to calm down. They learn it by experiencing what calm feels like in someone they trust. When you slow your voice, soften your body, and meet your child in the middle of their storm without adding to it, you're not just managing the moment. You're actually modeling what regulation looks like. Their nervous system mirrors yours. This is what researchers call co-regulation, and it is the single most powerful way children develop the ability to eventually regulate themselves. Every time you stay steady when they fall apart, you're wiring their brain for emotional strength. And then there's trust. Trust is quiet. It builds slowly and erodes slowly. But when correction consistently comes without connection, children don't just push back in the moment. Over time, they pull back. Altogether. They become less open, less communicative, and less willing to bring their real struggles to you. Connection during moments of discipline is what protects the relationship. Getting down to their level, saying their name gently, acknowledging what they're feeling before you address what they did. These small things communicate something enormous. You matter to me, even right now, even in this moment. That message is what keeps the door between you and your child open for years to come. So here's what this actually looks like in practice. It doesn't mean letting everything go. It doesn't mean boundaries disappear or that behavior doesn't get addressed. It means pausing long enough to regulate yourself first, because you cannot offer calm you don't have. It means acknowledging the feeling before correcting the action. It means asking yourself what is driving this behavior before deciding how to respond to it. And it means having the real conversation, the teaching moment, after the storm has passed, not in the middle of it. Children are not problems to be managed. They are people to be understood. And the most lasting changes in behavior don't come from the moments we enforced a consequence. They come from the moments our child felt truly known by us, even when they were at their worst. Connection isn't the soft option. It isn't letting things slide or pretending behavior doesn't matter. It is the very thing that makes correction work. It's what turns a discipline moment from a power struggle into a genuine opportunity to teach. Strong relationships don't make boundaries weaker. They make boundaries receivable. If there's one thing to carry with you from this, let it be this. Before you correct, connect. That pause, that moment of meeting your child where they are, is not a delay in parenting. It is parenting. And over time, that simple shift builds something no consequence ever could. A child who doesn't just behave because they're told to, but one who is genuinely growing into someone who understands why it matters. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. And share it with a parent you know who might need to hear it today. Because raising emotionally healthy children starts with understanding what they actually need from us.